Hello everyone, my name is Grzegorz Jankowicz, and on behalf of Biuro Literackie I conduct conversations with writers whose books were chosen to be presented in a publishing series called New European Literary Canon. I ask about these books, about background of these books, experiences around the books. I also try to ask about our individual and collective identities, European identities. Today my guest is Radmila Petrović. Hello Radmila.
Hello.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. The first poem of this book, this collection called My Mother Knows What's Happening in the Cities. This first poem is titled The Girl Who Doesn't Believe in Myths. Which of today's myths do you think should be discarded, rejected, to liberate our consciousness?
Well, I think every myth, I think in order to write poetry or prose, you need to not believe in anything, to doubt everything, and then to build your own myth for your readers in order to give them hope. I think that I write to give people hope. I think it is my mission.
The character you created for this book sets the boundaries between herself and the world. And she also tells her story, including family story. And the family history is very complex and difficult. But she does not cut herself off from this story. She brings it to the world. Why does she choose this more difficult path? She could just leave it behind and go on, but she does not want to. She wants to have this story with her.
I don't think it is really possible to just cut your past or to cut things or persons that created you and that shaped you, or the events that shaped you. So I think it was the only way to see what was there and to somehow lift yourself above that. So I think for every person it is the only way. You can go away, but it still I think stay in your heart. So I think you need to as soon as you start talking about that and writing, it is better.
They have never forgiven me for being Radmila. This line from your poem draws attention to one of the social mechanisms you talk about. Exclusion because of female identity. This is one of the most important themes in this book. Could you tell more about it?
Yeah, I wanted to describe this feeling of being an unwanted child because you are not male. I think it is really frequent in Balkans, so the readers could really identify with that, and that happened. So yeah, maybe one of my biggest wishes with this book was to present how this girl felt because she was unwanted and because she is a female in that rural environment where the women are less valued.
This patriarchal order you present in your book and you criticize in your book is not created solely by men. Women are also somehow participating in it. They support the structure of patriarchy. And they are, of course, victims, but at the same time, they do something that helps to sustain the system. How to fight with this? How to, change the mindset, the mentality, to liberate both men and women, all of us, from patriarchy.
It is expected that women support the system because the system shaped us in that way. Mm-hmm. I think it takes a lot of time, a lot of learning, and a lot of talking with other women to see how we really feel and to start to being more conscious about things, about how we are put in some how we are put in some just shapes, and we need to break it. I don't think it is easy to do it, but maybe a literature can help us. Is that if every female writer write about her own experience, I think in that way the readers can see what it is to be woman in this society, and maybe we can change it in a better way.
The way you present relationship between the countryside and the city is very interesting. This alter ego you created doesn't belong to either space. I had this feeling that she cannot stay in the countryside because she feels limited there. But when she moves to the city, she feels she does not belong there fully. So she's trapped in between. And how does this division between countryside, village, and the city look in today's Serbia?
Well, I think that you need to be in the city in order to success. I think the city in each country is, especially Serbia, especially capital, Belgrade, is full of chances, and if you want to success in any kind of job, it is pretty good and mandatory to success in Belgrade, to be there. But Belgrade now has great problems with environment and ecology. So it's better to breathe in the village and work in the Belgrade. But there is that expression that Serbia is not Belgrade and Belgrade is not Serbia, but I don't believe in it. I was sitting in my village and watching TV, and everything was about Belgrade. Mm-hmm. And as a child, I was asking myself, oh my God, if world is somewhere else, why I am sitting here in this village? So I wanted to go to become educated, and of course, in some way to save myself from that burdens that I got from our mentality. That is not different in Belgrade, but in Belgrade you can choose the life, the style of a life you want to live, because it's big city, and you will always in big cities find the people who are similar to you.
Mm-hmm. War appears in one of the poems, and this poem rejects not only the war itself, but also sort of war mentality that brought the country, all these countries from former Yugoslavia to war. Can the poem intervene in a way that this mentality will be just totally destructed? Do you believe in it? And what was the response? I know that some of your poems were posted by you over the internet. And I guess this one was also presented in the internet.
Yeah, but when I published my book, I didn't have any social medias, so the people were posting and sharing and all kind of stuff. And I read that poem in some show in the most well, not important, but most how to say, most watched Serbian night show. I read that, and it was two kind of comments. One is that I betrayed Serbia and that I work for abroad agents and abroad countries, and the other was that it's poem about love, and it is. So the comments were really pretty. I was shocked because it was some assaults and some, threats on the internet. But okay, I needed 1 hour to just put it in the right way in my head. But yeah, some people misinterpreted that poem, and okay, what to do? But if I do not believe that poem can change the world, I would never write. So I really have the hope, and I think the poetry is a good way to challenge the national narratives and everything that some people believe in.
In your response to our question about the possibility of changing the world through and by literature, you wrote that this is the reason you write. And you also mentioned that you believe that the poem can evoke empathy on the side of the reader. And I have a question about this empathy. A few years ago, I spoke with a Syrian poet, Hulut Sharaf, and she told me that from her perspective as a writer, as a poet, and also a refugee from Syria, it is not important that any text about the situation in Syria evokes empathy. She doesn't need empathy. As a migrant, she does not need our empathy. She needs a particular way of helping. She needs very specific things from the West. And I couldn't understand how is it possible that empathy is a way to get to the point where you start helping. And she told me something that was very disturbing, that from her point of view, the West sometimes uses empathy as an excuse, that we just stay with empathy evoked by a picture presenting migrants or a text about them, and so on and so forth. What do you think about this perspective?
When I'm thinking about the West, I am from country who were bombarded by the NATO, and for us in our national consciousness, the West always was the not friend. So somehow we know how the politics in the bigger levels, of course, always manipulate with things. It is expected. It is politics. But I do think we need empathy. But I know it can be, of course, manipulated, way of manipulation. But still, we need a real one in the world. I cannot, as a poet, I don't want to talk much about politics because it is hard to know the truth in this world, and I'm not a politician. But I am frequently asked about politics stuff in ex-Yugoslavia or my country, and it is hard really to talk about that, maybe because we as a society in my country didn't have a right response to some past events, and we need we need to build our answers to some questions from the past.
I'm sure that you receive a lot of reactions, responses from the audience to your poems, to your books. What was the most interesting, moving, touching response you received from your readers by now?
Well, a few days ago I had a reading in München, and some German-speaking editor, I think, told me that I am not knocking. My poetry not knocking. That is like some nature spirit that just go in, and I liked it. Well, many people. I had a lot of comments, and I had a lot of readings, so people could come to me and say what they want. One young man said to me that I'm saving lives. I like it. I liked it with my poetry. One older women frequently tell me that I am speaking about things they from ever wanted to say, but they didn't know how to say that. And things like that. So I think my mission with this book is,
Accomplished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not yet, because we still have an event at the festival.
Of course, but that mission I had what I want to give to people through my poems.
I understand. Radmila, thank you for this conversation, and see you at the festival.
See you at the festival. Thank you for the invitation.